Since we have so much time, I might as well go over a lot of things. One, I just wanted to say thank you, Brian. Last week, I sent you guys an email. As we're working on the comp plan, starting to finish that up, I thought, as we're passing these PDFs back and forth from paper maps and everything, that there's got to be easier ways. So I channeled my previous life as a GIS guy and got with Val down tax maps. She drew a web map together, which is basically the parcels, the comp plan, municipal boundaries, that sort of thing. We can give access to whoever to see that map, or anybody and everybody. That way they can see the old comp plans, the new comp plans, they can toggle those on and off. So it's much easier to see what the designation was and what it is now. With the next step, maybe not this year, but the next time we get the comp plan, that the trustees can actually log in and make their changes, and it'll track all those changes. So we know exactly who changed what to what. So I think that'll be, it's probably something we should have done a long time ago, but I just thought about it. So, but we are closing in on having that finished up. Next thing on my list is the Mid-Ohio Water and Sewer District board member. We haven't received any resumes yet for that position, so if there's anybody out there that you know that may be a good fit, pass them over to me, or give them the link to the website that has all the information on it, the county website, so they can submit a resume and cover letter for that position.
I think there's someone interested in something.
Okay. And I do have a couple companies interested in purchasing some of the vacant buildings here in the county. So I will sending them information and meeting with them as well until we get a new economic development director in place. Trying not to miss out or skip a beat on that. So, and we are going through interviews. We had 7 last week, I believe, and a couple this week, with the idea of narrowing that down and having second interviews and potentially a third interview for the last 2 or 3 candidates. So we have some pretty good applicants thus far.
You get down to like 2 or 3, and then sit in.
Absolutely. And actually, I was wondered if you did want to do something like what we did with Job and Family Services and have a board, like a hiring board. You, me, Steve,
It's fine.
Montrose Group.
I was gonna say, the person that really wants to make his mom post, and I have some insights.
And eventually Kenny McDonald, which I sent you guys his email yesterday, I believe, that with his vision for how he could best serve the county. So he's, one of his first things was hiring and onboarding an economic development director. So
I think you could help you on that endeavor.
yeah, I agree. So yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with applicants so far, even though about half of them are out of state.
Yeah, I was surprised when the applicants were that.
Yeah, we only have a couple from Central Ohio, but most are New York, Michigan, Indiana, and West Virginia. So far, so.
That's pretty pleased with the number of applicants and the quality of applicants as far, so it's good.
Yeah.
Very good, sir.
Want me to keep going?
You're on a roll.
Then I'd like to discuss the energy aggregate plan here. So just for my knowledge, have we always used the County Commissioners Association in Palmer? So since that it was adopted by public ballot, right? And then they issue the RFPs, correct? And that's always how it's done.
Correct.
Okay, so, and I think you had said back in last month that Dynegy submitted 4, and they were the only company, right? That submitted.
Let me back up just a second for your first question. We had a different consulting firm previously, and we switched over to Palmer in, I'll have to get you the dates. So timeline, November 8th of 2011, it was placed on the ballot and approved by voters. 2012 was the first initial agreement.
And who was that with?
I'm sorry.
That was utilizing Palmer, then, yeah, some of that.
I just went through the timeline.
Okay.
2012, first agreement that ran to 2015, 2015 to 2018, 2018 to 2021, and then 2021, we switched over to Palmer. So August of 2021, we switched to Palmer.
Okay, so we could use, there's other options out there.
And Palmer is a CCAO partner.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah, we just use the CCAO partner, whoever that may be, because the CCAO switched partners. I don't know that we didn't make that decision.
Yeah.
I should Palmer. I think CCAO.
yeah, I can't
Using
remember.
Palmer.
I can't remember if we had our own consultant or if CCAO switched consultants. I could go back and talk to John Knight at CCAO. He was the one that headed up. But he heads up all the partnerships with CCAO. So, yeah, October 20. What did I just say, 21?
It's definitely the ones, yeah, I know since I've been here, we've used Palmer Energy, but I thought we just went with the recommendation of the CCAO, who they were using. I don't know if that's our decision on which consultants to use.
I don't know.
And I don't know that a different consultant would go out and get different rates on the market, right? And they just open up an RFP and basically take quotes from all the providers. So even if you use a different consultant, I don't know that they would get different bid numbers, right? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know, but
It's hard to believe that only one company would bid. That's just,
And I looked through all the bids over the previous years, and the last cycle, we had two companies, Energy Harbor and Dynergy. So it's over time, the numbers have shrank on who bids, but yeah, this time Dynergy was the only one who submitted.
Do they bid also according to like, I mean, this is for this county. Now Franklin County, maybe there might be more bids because the supply over there is a lot of money. You know what I mean? Maybe the bigger companies don't even want to bid us because we're insignificant when we look at the whole.
It's a very complex business, and I don't pretend to truly understand it. And I've had numerous conversations with Phil Lassard from Palmer, and frankly, most of it's over my head. He did send me that 2-page PDF on how their process, how they derive at these prices, which I sent to you guys. And he gave me a few other counties that they were working with and the rates they received, which were very similar to ours. But at a very elementary level, my understanding is that at certain rates, it may be not worth a generation company getting into this specific market until it reaches a certain price point. And that's where they feel, that's why they were saying, we think you only want to do 1 year, because when the price rises, then you'll have more interest from generation. When more generation comes in, then the price comes down, and then it could be lower. But I'm not an analyst by any stretch of the imagination.
who recommended the 1 year?
Palmer.
So previously, we've been doing 3 years, right? The city of London's doing 3 years.
Yeah.
So I just,
This is the first time it'd be one.
yeah, and that was the question I had asked. I had asked what would be the 3-year rate, and you said that it would be likely higher, but never got those numbers, and now
It was in that initial, I'm sorry, it was in that initial document with all of the prices. There was a matrix right in the middle that had the
that
different.
has the 3-year number.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't remember if it's 4 years or 5 years, but I can pull that up and send it to you. But it was kind of contrary to what I would think you would expect, right? If you lock in for more years, it would be less, but it's actually more. if you lock it in for 1 year. So, you know, and I'm strictly going by what Palmer's recommendations are.
I mean, I would have probably been in favor of the 3 years. Is it too late to change? Because
What is it?
this was brought to us for discussion, and my understanding was that we were then gonna approve it at some point. And Amy submitted a resolution to us to approve it, but yet it's already been done. So how did that resolution come about that you sent us yesterday?
I got papers in the mail. And I looked back to see if if the formal resolution had taken place. And
So I guess my question is it official or is it not official? Because if it's official, then we don't need to do the resolution. There's nothing we can do. But if it's not official, we could still consider the 3 year option.
I can give them a call and see if we can look at the 3 year and, you know, basically get out of this 1 year. But right now, I'm pretty sure they're gonna say it's official. But whether or not we can say, hey, we're interested in this 3 year and see what they say. But it's, you know, like, I think I sent you the email where they basically describe what I just basically tried to describe inadequately of why they're saying that the 1 year is the better way to go.
But even when you look on the internet for other providers, I don't see a lot offering. Some of them offer 7 months, some of them offer 12 months.
It's predatory right now.
I don't see a lot long term because I think that depends. The whole drought most of the place, but depends on gas prices and natural gas and so on. So I think that market's fluctuating and so does our generator.
And the fact that data center, I mean, Union County has 2 now, they're about to have 9.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I'm just not an expert. I mean, we depend on these people that are experts to make a decision for us. But why do about electric generation? Nothing. And if the CCAO, which is our group that we pay to do this, recommends this, how can we say, well, we can do better? Or do we just let people go out on the internet and keep their own, which they can if they wish?
Yeah, no, that's the thing we gotta keep in mind. No one is required to go with this program. They can opt out of the program.
And if they,
find a better rate.
well, and if they opt out, my thought is if they opt out, right, do they automatically get Ohio Edison, whatever Ohio Edison wants to charge, that's what they're gonna get. They own the lines, right? So that's what I'm worried about. Then you got a monopoly. If people don't go look to get a better rate, they're gonna get Ohio Edison rate. And I looked it up yesterday and this year's rate was for true Ohio Edison was nine some percent.
Yeah, so just for an example, this email, from Phil, pricing came in a bit higher earlier in the day and our analyst is working to get the best rate possible for the county. Dynegy is looking to price the county's load again at 2:30 today as the market has come down since this morning. I mean, you probably know much more about that kind of stuff than I do, but it seems like through this process of checking it at various points in time, and then that's where they basically are like, hey, this is, you want to lock today. And that's basically what we did.
Yeah, I mean, to Tony's point, I mean, we are, some of putting our trust in this program that the CCAO has put together, our association has put together. I think we all believe that CCAO is looking out for our best interest and has hired this consultant to give us the best advice and help us find the best rate possible. I guess we just got to trust that they're doing.
Yeah, so
I mean, part of my concern was that it was brought to us and we had a discussion. We said we'll get more information, circle back to it. So I was under the impression that there'd be a final decision, there'd be an additional discussion, which there was. So that was And the resolution we passed in August was authorizing the county administrator to submit the application and all the relevant documents, but I didn't interpret that as being able to execute the agreement. So if that's what it was, then I think it should have said execute the agreement rather than just the application document.
And I know we talked about it in session maybe a month or two ago. I don't recall if we commented that conversation. I mean, I know there was some conversation about maybe trying to lock that in for a year. And, sometimes we just give Rob a verbal.
Yeah.
I don't know that we did give him, I can't recall if we did or not.
Yeah, there are times that we do that, obviously, but that wasn't one of those times. We definitely had plans to follow up, so. And I realize things can happen where, he may have to jump on something. If that's the case, that wasn't my understanding that authorization had been given. And then, like I said, that August resolution, that was about the application. So did you have something?
Well, I just want to point out that the language in the resolution is a bit vague. And maybe that's something to watch in the future because it says, Madison County Administrator is hereby authorized to sign the application and any related documents on behalf of the Board of Commissioners. Is that in furtherance of the aggregation agreement, or is that in furtherance of the application process? It really doesn't specify. So I would just be careful about the wording there. And if there was a question, because of the fact that it's vague, whether or not you had the authority, perhaps we should move forward and adopt the resolution, considering the agreement's already entered, just to eliminate any concern as to whether or not there is authority.
Well, if we have a question about authority, then what harm would it cause if we don't pass the resolution? Because if we can't get out of it anyway.
Well, you're looking at whether the commissioners could view that as like lacking authority and therefore remove themselves. But the other question is whether someone else could challenge whether it was properly entered. It's highly unlikely, and whether someone even had standing to do that, I don't know. But I mean, that's the question. Somebody else, not you trying to back out of the agreement, but something else challenging whether there was authority in the first place to do that. And my argument would be that the language in the resolution authorized further action, but it doesn't spell it out.
Yeah, kind of review that, it kind of gives them authority to do more beyond the
It
application.
clearly does,
Yeah.
but what is that?
Yeah, but it's saying what that is, so
Yeah.
I think we can interpret that as he had the authority to sign the agreement, even though it doesn't explicitly state that.
Yeah, I think it'd just be helpful. I mean, if you're gonna mention application in the title of a resolution, the agreement's the bigger deal. So I
Yeah,
think,
your resolution should have been more clear
Right.
on whether it was just application or whether it was application or agreement, so yeah. We can clean it up for future resolution, if we're giving authority to Rob, it would be clear about what we're giving him authority to do, so that resolution was vague.
Yeah.
We can do that in the future, just to make it sure we know exactly what authority we're giving.
And obviously it is a tough spot for that.
Yeah,
but then when it was brought back up for discussion, it wasn't brought up like, hey, I'm gonna be executing this. It was brought up for, hey, you guys have a decision to make.
yes, you're right.
And we asked for further information, which was provided. And then at the end of the meeting, I had asked, what's our timeline? Do we need to take action on that? And I was told, no rush, by the end of the year.
Right.
So I think the confusion is warranted. The other issue I want to bring up with this is a letter went out, I don't know if folks saw it, that really makes it look like it came from the county. It's signed Madison County. It's got our symbol. I understand this might be common practice. I don't know, but
I've seen very similar letters before provided either through some kind of service agreement or aggregation agreement. I would say it probably stems from the actual agreement itself. The provision there that says they are responsible for the notification through the half of the county. Again, that's typical, but I haven't actually read the agreement.
yeah, but a notification is one thing. Trying to pretend like you're Madison County is another thing. I mean, because they literally say they're speaking as if they're Madison County. They refer to Dynegy in the third person. They say contact Dynegy. They don't say contact
Right,
us.
so that's why you gotta look at the language of the contract agreement itself. If it says that they would make the notification on behalf of the county, then that's how they do it.
Yeah. They're required, they're required. to
Exactly, they are required.
Provide that information, and it's mainly for the opt-out.
Yeah.
Here's how you can clearly opt out of this program.
You have to look at this language.
So then, at the very least, in the future, we could propose an amendment to that, saying that we would like to approve the notifications before they go out. I mean, I think, is that reasonable? Is that something we could request?
Yeah, we should take a look at that contract. I mean, I think it's maybe Brendan, if you would take a look at that, because yeah, that clearly looks like it came from us, and we should at least have some sort of approval over something that had our logo, our name on it.
Understanding. When I talked to Brendan earlier, I said just that, we gotta look at the contract and I.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, we could taking a look at that.
Bounce down with language says.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think the letter's the exact same letter that's went out.
It goes up.
Yeah. Aggregations term.
With
But-
the commissioners assemble.
It does every time. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've not noticed that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's part of the program that residents have to be notified, you know, on behalf of the county with the opt-out information. I don't know if that's part of the agreement or if that's the law
Well, I think it's,
or
I
both.
think it's both.
It was with the city too, because we,
Yeah, I got mine for the city.
yeah, and it has the city's logo on it. as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very confusing.
It is.
And so I don't fault people for thinking that the
That's-
city did this or the county did this.
right.
And
And it's pretty predatory out there right now. I mean, there's people going door to door, knocking on, you know, somebody knocked on my mom's door 2 or 3 times saying, hey, we can get you a better rate, you know, and phone calls and emails and, you know, but typically with those companies, it's, well, you pay, you know, this rate, but in the fine print, it doesn't tell you it's gonna increase after 3 months or that there's a monthly fee or this or that. And I'm not saying they all do that. Right now, there's certainly potentially as good of deals out there, if not better, but there's a lot of stuff that's a little on the shady side. But Brendan, I did bring up the price offers. And you're correct, there's 4, all 4 from Dynegy, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and 4 year. And the price goes up from the 1 year from 0.094 to 0.0961. The next one is 0.09650. And then the 4th one is 0.09780. So each additional year, that price goes up.
barely, yeah.
Barely.
I've now found that document as well. So to say that you could lock it in for 4 years for almost the same price, when we know that all of these data centers are coming online, and we've seen a 55% increase just this year, and the year before that, it was, so I think that's worth considering.
Okay.
And I don't understand, I still don't understand their logic for why a 1 year is likely to be better than locking it in. I don't understand.
Yeah.
They're talking about uncertainty in future prices, but does anyone think they're gonna go down? I mean, if they thought they were gonna go down, then I could see that.
They did say they thought they would go down.
That's what it's. No.
Yeah, I mean, Phil basically said their analysts felt that there would be more competition in generation.
I'll be honest with that.
More competition in generation, so therefore it would drive that price up. And a whole bunch of other stuff that I frankly didn't understand.
Well, I think if it's done and there's nothing that can be done, then it's done. If it's not, then I don't know, does anyone else think?
I can certainly make the phone call.
Yeah. And if you find that they say, no, it's done, can't be changed, then there's nothing to do, so then it's a new point.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. I definitely scratched my head on that whole thing because You can see from 2012, up. It's like, at least triple. It's increased every single year. It's just how much of it would increase. Doesn't go lower. I don't know. I depend on that consultant to tell me what, to convey to the board what they feel is the best strategy.
I think we're still gonna see, more generation come online in the next couple of years. There's still projects out there getting built,
Nuclear.
across the board.
Seems like
I mean, there's a gas generation facility out in Millville. There's some, behind the meter, facilities coming online for data centers.
Data centers, what about the battery plants is down the road? I mean, that's going to,
And generation.
and the thing is, supply and demand.
And, with the, the sunsetting of the ITC credits for renewables, I think the next 2 years, you're going to see, anything that was already, in the works and permitted,
Right.
are going to be accelerated.
Yeah. Well, with data centers, it seems like there's a interest or trend moving to, if they have access to natural gas, that they basically build their own power plant on site to power their buildings. So, what does that do?
And we run into this with just materials from time to time. We go through seasons where, there's a steel shortage and we can only, we'll get a quote that's good for 5 days or whatever. And, if we ask for a price from 6 months from now, they don't know what it's gonna look like, so they gotta give us a high price. Or, timing on or asphalt emulsion every year. If we bid too early, they didn't know what their demand's gonna look like, so they overbid on price, so we try to time that. I don't know, it sounds like there's a lot of uncertainty in play, long term.
Yeah, and there's something with the JPM and with the grid and the,
BJ,
how much and who's got agreements, JPM. That's what, BJM, so actually. Yeah, my letters all confused, but who they take on the grid and who they don't and so forth, so on, as far as transmission goes. So that was a piece of that puzzle that I wasn't quite clear on.
Well, let me go ahead and we can do now and see if that is final and then go from there.
Will do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Amy?
A resolution authorizing the county to enter into the Regional Council of Governments for the Central Ohio Area Agency on Aging, authorizing the execution and delivery of an agreement establishing the Central Ohio Area Agency on Aging as a Regional Council of Governments, approving the bylaws of the Regional Council of Governments for the Central Ohio Area Agency on Aging. Well, their words, not mine.
Move to approve.
I will second the comment.
First and a second, any other discussion?
Yes. So I think, I understand this as basically getting a seat at the table right on this. I don't really see any reason not to join this going forward, but with the caveat that I really hope they do not implement some sort of a fee, right? We're signing up for something, not knowing what the board could enact as a enrollment fee or participation fee. So my understanding is we could get out if we didn't like it. So I hope that.
The only problem I have with that, since we're in the comment section, is we get one vote out of
Correct.
great big votes. If they were gonna make it fair, I know population has a lot to do with it, but if they really wanted to make it fair, there'd be one vote for each of the members.
Well, and I can understand the proportionality too, but we don't get much of a vote. So that's the point. If
That's my point. One vote, no, doesn't mean a damn thing when you got 39 others.
Right. So,
22, whatever.
yeah, 22. So I think it's worth giving a go at it, but I just, if they were
We
to,
can opt out.
I mean, if they're
Yeah,
higher participation, then it might
Yeah.
not be worth it, so.
yeah, agreed.
Yep, roll call please, Amy?
Mr. Shea,
Yes,
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution appointing Madison County as member representative to the Council of Aging Regional Council of Governments for the Central Ohio Area Agency on Aging.
so moved, we have to designate,
Want someone?
so this would be, this, did we discuss that this would be Rob, right?
Could be.
I believe we had discussed that.
I can't remember, to be honest with you, but I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
When you introduced the topic,
Mhm.
I believe you said, the board would designate an attendee, designate a member. That's my recommendation.
So I move to approve and have Rob be our member.
Yeah, I think Tony volunteered at that, in that discussion.
I'm trying to stay away from aging.
And I think I mentioned I would be the alternative or the backup. That was my, so I'm willing to do that.
Yep.
It's not in the resolution, but second.
No first and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes,
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Resolution approving the payment of invoices for the Madison County Auditor.
so moved.
Second.
No first and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes,
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the programmatic agreement between Madison County and the Ohio State Historic Preservation Office for the administration of programs using HUD allocated funds.
so moved.
Second.
No first and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes,
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the 2025 through 2027 prevention, retention, and contingency plan for the Madison County Department of Jobs and Family Services.
second.
First and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes,
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving an increase in revenue and expense line items for the Family and Children First Council.
so moved.
Second.
First and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes,
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Resolution approving fund transfers for the Madison County Family and Children First Council.
So moved.
second.
For the first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes,
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving payment of invoices to Crossroads Community Planning on behalf of Darby Township.
so moved.
Second.
That's for, is it for 10,000? Yeah.
That's all.
Not to exceed 10,000. No.
First and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes,
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Madison County Airport to apply for, accept, and administer funds under the Ohio Department of Transportation Airport Improvement Program, AIP 339-0047-030-2025, AIP 30.
So moved.
second.
First and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes,
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Madison County Airport Authority to apply for and accept and administer funds under the Ohio Department of Transportation Airport Improvement Program, AIP 338-0047-031-2025, AIP 31.
so moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes,
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Aggregation, if we want to wait to approve
Yes.
this resolution.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other business to come before the board this morning? Hearing none,